Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have 10 different things that really do help me when I study, and it helps me have a very successful and productive study session. But first, I do want to introduce you guys to this little guy. His name is Kodak and he is 12 weeks old. He is a Kakapoodle as well as Bentley. It's been a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie, because having two dogs, feeding two dogs, taking two dogs out, it's a lot of work. But I think once he is trained and just fully house trained, it's gonna be super fun to have two dogs. But right now it's crazy in this house. But yeah, that's Kodak and I'm so excited. He's so freaking cute and he literally looks just like Bentley when Bentley was a baby. They're twins. Okay, so we are going to start. So tip number one would be to have a clean environment. For me, I like to study in my dining room. I have a big dining room, and so I like to put all my stuff there. I put my computer, my books, my notebooks, my pens, everything. Ow, he's biting me. And I like to study there. However, I do see my kitchen and my living room from my dining room, so I have to make sure that those two areas are fully clean, because if I see any clutter or any mess, I cannot focus on studying. Like, I have to make sure everything's clean. And also, like, if I have laundry to do, that's all I can think about. So I have to make sure that my house is clean. And I'm not saying like sweep and mop, like just pick up any mess that you have around the house, and just seeing your house clean or your room clean, if you study in your room, I think is so helpful for you to just focus on what you're doing. Tip number two is organize study time. There's nothing more frustrating to me than sitting down and not knowing where to start. Something that I found that truly helps me is to write down all the things that I have to do, like homework, projects, if I have to write a paper, or if I have an exam or quiz. I write everything down, and then I also write priorities. So if I have a paper due tomorrow, I know that that's the first thing I have to do. If I have an exam within the next 3 days, I have to make sure that from the 3 hours that I'll be studying, at least 1 hour is going to be focused on just studying, or even more. But I think having an organized checklist of everything you have to do and having the dates of when things are due, I think helps you really focus at one thing at a time. Because I'm telling you, before, when I first started nursing school, I would sit down and I would feel so overwhelmed with everything that I had to turn in and exams and just everything that I had to do, that sometimes I would sit there and I would just get on my phone, because I would be like, where do I start? So I think now that I have developed better habits, starting a checklist does really help me with how I study. Okay, for tip number three, I'm such a snacker when it comes to studying. I tend to get really bored, because there's times that I study for 3 to 5 hours and I get bored. So I tend to go to my pantry and just grab anything from the pantry. So what I've learned is that if I don't have healthy snacks ready to go, I will finish an entire bag of Doritos. So what I started doing is I started buying healthier snacks, and by healthier snacks I mean fruit, because for example, apples and peanut butter, cut up strawberries with Greek yogurt. I love pineapples with tahini. Like, just have snacks that are like enjoyable. Like, my mouth got watery just thinking of pineapples and tahini, or cucumbers with tahini. Ooh. Tip number four is to have music on while you study. I don't know if this actually works for everybody, but it helps me so much. I can't even tell you how much this helps me focus. There was a time that I was trying to study and I could not, like, I was literally reading and then I would think back and I would be like, what the hell did I just read? Like, I could not focus. I could not retain any information. I was not processing any information. So I went on YouTube and I typed in music to study, literally music to study, and a bunch of videos came up and I'm like, okay, so this is a thing. I started listening to like music to study, and it literally makes such a huge difference. So every time I study, I play music, I just zone out. Like, I could literally study now for 3 to 5 hours, no problem. And if you would have told me before I started nursing school you're gonna be studying for 5 hours straight, I would have never in my life believed you. But now it's I mean, I do it all the time. Like there's times that my mom calls me and I'm like, oh, I'm studying, and then she calls me like 4 hours later and I'm like, I'm studying. She's like, how are you still studying? I'm like, I don't know. But playing music really helps me concentrate, and it kind of erases every other thought that I have in my head, and it just makes me like focus. It's honestly a life changer. Tip number 5 is take breaks. So taking breaks is probably the most important thing you can do when studying. When I say take a break, I mean not sit down and be on your phone for like 30 hours. What I mean by taking breaks is take your dogs for a walk or go to the gym. I love going to the gym. That's probably the best therapy for me, and that's the best break I could have for myself, because I truly get to let all my stress and I don't know, just everything. Going to the gym is probably like the best thing that has ever happened to me, because there's times that I'm studying and I'm frustrated and I'm anxious about an exam, and going to the gym just makes me relax so much. So like there's times that I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna study for 2 hours and then I'm gonna take an hour break to go to the gym, and then I'll come back and study for another 2 hours. And honestly, that helps so much. It's better than studying for 4 hours straight and just burning your brain. I'm not saying you have to just go to the gym. You know, you can watch your favorite TV show. Just don't binge watch a TV show, because that has definitely happened to me. Or go for a walk, or have dinner, or enjoy a glass of wine. Whatever it is, take breaks during study time. Okay, so tip number 6, I have buy materials that make you excited to study. And this is what I mean by that. So I personally love highlighters, color pens, and just like cute notebooks and just stickers. And yes, I'm such a kid, I know. The way I study, I like to rewrite my notes, and having just a black pen or a blue pen is not exciting for me. So I have a bunch of color pens and a bunch of highlighters. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can buy highlighters at the dollar store, at Walmart. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money, so don't feel like, oh my god, it's gonna cost me so much money. Go to the dollar store and get you different color pens and highlighters, and honestly, that makes me excited to study, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it's just me. Tip number 7 is do not have your phone with you when you study. And I know it's not realistic for everybody, because for me, sometimes I use my phone to search different things, but I know I can use my laptop. But I'm just so used to using my phone that I don't know, I like to have my phone near me. But there's times that I go on Google to search something about school, and then I end up on YouTube watching videos for like 3 hours, or on Instagram just scrolling on like your mama's page. Like seriously, I just get lost on social media, and I just find any excuse not to study. I'm like, okay, yeah, I forgot I had to search this, I forgot I had to do this. Oh, let me check my bank account. Has anybody sent me anything on Snapchat? Let me check if Target has any discounts. Like I just make any excuse to search anything on my phone, so I don't have to go back to study. So there's times that I will literally tell my husband, like, hold my phone, because I cannot stop going on the internet. So he'll literally take my phone, and I tell him I'm gonna study for at least an hour, and then you can give me my phone back. I'm a child. Yes, I am a child, but that helps me a lot, because I know that I don't have a phone, so I just study. It really does help me. Tip number 8. So for tip number 8, I have for you to kind of do research on what you're gonna be studying. And I think being informed of what you're going to be studying makes it a little bit more interesting. And let me explain. So for example, if you are studying about, I don't know, fluid deficit, or whatever topic you are going to be studying or reading, there's times that, well, for me in nursing school, every topic is something completely new that I've never heard of. And so what I do is I go on YouTube and I search whatever it is, fluid deficit or hyponatremia, whatever it is, and I look for those 3 to 5 to 10 minute videos that summarize the entire subject. So when I start reading my notes or reading the book or doing homework, I'm familiar with the content. You know, I think that really does help me get more interested in what I'm reading, than just going blindfolded and being like, what is this, what is that, and what is that, you know what I mean? So watching a video that kind of summarizes the entire thing you're gonna be reading is so helpful, because like I said, it kind of breaks down everything you're gonna be learning into such a small summary that you might feel like it's not interesting, but after watching the video you might be like, okay, this is kind of fun. So when you start reading, you're familiar with the topic. All right, so for tip number 9, I have study with someone. And now this doesn't always help me. However, there's some topics in nursing school that sometimes having 2 brains is better than just one. I think this is such a good idea, especially if you are having a hard time understanding the subject or whatever you're studying for. It's so good to meet up with someone and sharing thoughts, sharing notes, sharing ideas, questions. And I promise you, if you're struggling with something or a subject that you don't like, you don't understand, when you see it from another person's point of view, it might change your entire view of that. Honestly, that helps me a lot. So studying with someone or doing homework with someone, I think is fun. Just meeting up at a Starbucks and just doing homework with someone, I think that's kind of motivating, you know? All right, so for the last tip, I think this is more for when you don't feel like studying. There's times that I cannot get myself to study or do any homework, and these are probably days after clinicals that I'm like exhausted of being at the hospital, and then I have to come home and study for an exam. And so what I like to do, I am such a sucker for watching motivational videos. Me and my sister are obsessed with motivational videos. We literally share videos to each other on a daily basis. I think that really helps me every time I feel like I'm being lazy or I'm not getting things done. So I'll watch a motivational video and I'm like, okay, if they can do it, they work hard for what they have, you know, it just like sparks the fire in me. I don't know, whatever. It just makes me like motivated, and it makes me want to study, and I'm like, okay, all right, let me get this done, you know? And I think watching someone being successful and telling their story and just watching things like that, personally, that helps me a lot. Okay guys, so this is all I have for today. I hope these tips help you study better and have a better, successful study sessions, because these tips have honestly changed my life, and I've discovered them little by little. There's times that they work and there's times that they don't. I definitely think that developing your own habits is very important. What might work for me may not work for you, and so just take that, you know, with a grain of salt. So do what works for you, try them out. If you do try them out, please let me know, and if you have any tips for me, please share them in the comments below. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.